There's something truly magnificent happening in your life right now, even if you can't see it yet. Even if you're struggling, even if you're confused, even if you feel like nothing is working out the way you planned, the universe is conspiring for your highest good, and there's a perfect timing to everything that unfolds in your existence. You see, we live in a world that wants everything now, immediately, instantly. We've become so accustomed to fast food, fast internet, fast results that we've forgotten one of the most profound truths of our existence. Everything arrives exactly when it's supposed to arrive. I want to talk with you today about something that has transformed my understanding of life, and I know it can transform yours too. It's about trust. It's about patience. It's about understanding that there's an intelligence far greater than our limited ego-based thinking that's orchestrating the events of our lives. When I say, God knows when you're ready to see something, I'm not talking about some distant deity sitting on a throne making judgments about your worthiness. I'm talking about the infinite organizing power of the universe, the Tao, the Source, whatever name brings you comfort. This power knows you better than you know yourself because this power is yourself at the highest level. Think about a seed planted in the ground. That seed contains within it everything it needs to become a mighty tree. But it doesn't become a tree overnight. It doesn't become a tree because it tries really hard or because it worries about becoming a tree. It becomes a tree by following its inner intelligence, by trusting the process, by allowing the conditions to be right. You can't dig up the seed every day to check if it's growing. You can't pull on the sprout to make it grow faster. The seed knows when to break open. The soil knows when to provide nutrients. The sun knows when to shine. And in perfect harmony, in perfect timing, that tree emerges. You are no different. You have within you right now everything you need to become who you're meant to be. Everything you're seeking, every answer you need, every bit of wisdom, every ounce of courage, it's already inside you. But just like that seed, there are seasons to your growth. There are times of darkness when you're underground, gathering your strength. There are times when you're breaking through and it feels difficult and uncomfortable. And there are times when you're blossoming and everything feels aligned and beautiful. All of these phases are necessary. All of them are perfect. All of them are happening in divine order. I've spent many years of my life trying to force things to happen on my schedule. I thought I knew better than the universe. I thought my ego, my small self, could figure it all out and make everything happen when I wanted it to happen. And let me tell you, that's an exhausting way to live. It's like trying to swim against a powerful current. You can do it for a while, but eventually, you're going to tire yourself out. But when you learn to trust, when you learn to surrender to the flow of life, when you understand that you'll see what you need to see when you're ready to see it, everything changes. Suddenly, you're swimming with the current. Suddenly, life becomes effortless. Suddenly, synchronicities start showing up everywhere. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You might be saying, but I've been waiting so long. I've been patient. I've been trying to trust. Why hasn't what I want shown up yet? And I understand that frustration. I really do. But here's what I've learned. The waiting, the not having what you want right now, that's not punishment. That's preparation. Every single day that passes, even the difficult ones, especially the difficult ones, you're being prepared for what's coming. You're developing strength you didn't know you had. You're learning lessons that you'll need later. You're becoming the person who can handle the blessing when it arrives. You see, sometimes we think we're ready for something, but we're not. Not really. We want the relationship, but we haven't learned to love ourselves yet. We want the success, but we haven't developed the character to handle it with grace. We want the answer, but we haven't learned to ask the right question. God, the universe, Source, this infinite intelligence, it sees the bigger picture. It knows that if you got what you wanted right now, in your current state of consciousness, it might actually harm you rather than help you. So the blessing is held back, not because you're being punished, not because you're not worthy, but because you're being loved and protected and prepared. Let me share something with you. There was a time in my life when I desperately wanted something. I won't go into all the details, but I wanted it so badly I could taste it. I prayed for it. I visualized it. I did all the things I thought I was supposed to do, and it didn't come. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and I started to get bitter. I started to think that maybe this whole spiritual path was nonsense. Maybe there was no divine order. Maybe I was just fooling myself. But I kept going. I kept trusting, even when I didn't feel like it. And then, years later, I look back and I could see it so clearly. If I had gotten what I wanted when I wanted it, it would have been a disaster. I wasn't ready. I didn't have the wisdom I needed. I didn't have the maturity. I didn't have the understanding. The universe was protecting me from myself, and it was preparing me for something even better than what I had asked for. This is what I mean when I say you'll see it when you're ready to see it. It's not about time passing. It's not about arbitrary dates on a calendar. It's about your consciousness expanding. It's about your awareness growing. It's about you becoming the version of yourself that can recognize the blessing when it's right in front of you. Because here's another truth. Sometimes the very thing you've been asking for has already shown up, but you can't see it because you're looking for it to appear in a certain way. You have a picture in your mind of how it's supposed to look, and when it shows up differently, you miss it entirely. This is why attachment to form is so dangerous. When you're attached to the specific way something has to happen, you close yourself off to the infinite ways the universe can deliver your good to you. You say, it has to be this job, and you miss the better opportunity that's trying to get your attention. You say, it has to be this person, and you miss the soul mate who's standing right next to you. You say, it has to look like this, and you miss the miracle that looks different than you expected. Readiness isn't just about being prepared to receive. It's also about being flexible enough to recognize that what you receive might be packaged differently than you imagined. Let me talk to you about ego for a moment, because ego is what keeps us from being ready. Ego is that part of us that thinks it knows everything, that thinks it's in control, that thinks it can figure out the best path forward. But ego is limited. Ego can only see from one perspective, your perspective. Ego is based in fear and separation. Ego says, I have to make this happen, I have to force this, I have to control this. But your higher self, your connection to source, that part of you knows that you don't have to force anything. You're part of an intelligent universe that's always working for your benefit. Your job isn't to make things happen, your job is to allow things to happen. When you're living from ego, you're never ready to see the truth, because ego distorts everything. Ego tells you that you're not enough, so even when blessings show up, you don't believe you deserve them. Ego tells you that you're separate from others, so you miss the connections that are trying to form. Ego tells you that you have to compete and struggle and fight, so you miss the ease and flow that's available to you. The shift from ego to spirit is the shift that makes you ready. It's the shift that opens your eyes. It's the shift that allows you to see what's been there all along. And how do you make this shift? Not by trying harder, not by doing more, but by surrendering, by letting go, by trusting. Every single day, you have opportunities to choose spirit over ego. When something doesn't go your way, you can choose to trust that there's a reason, or you can choose to get angry and bitter. When someone disappoints you, you can choose to see it as a lesson in your growth, or you can choose to see yourself as a victim. When what you want doesn't show up on your schedule, you can choose to believe that the timing is perfect, or you can choose to believe that you're being punished. These choices, moment by moment, day by day, they determine your state of readiness. I want you to understand something crucial. God, the universe, source, is not testing you. This isn't some cosmic game where you have to prove yourself worthy before you get the prize. That's ego thinking. That's the old paradigm of a punishing, judging deity. The truth is far more beautiful. The truth is that you're always worthy. You've always been worthy. You were born worthy. Your worthiness isn't something you have to earn, but your readiness to receive, your readiness to see, your readiness to recognize your own magnificence that evolves, that grows, that expands with your consciousness. Think of it like this. The sun is always shining, always. Even on the cloudiest day, even in the darkest night, the sun is shining, but you can't always see it. Not because the sun isn't there, not because the sun is withholding its light from you, but because you're facing the wrong direction, or there are clouds in the way, or it's nighttime where you are. The blessings in your life are like that sun. They're always there. God's love is always there. Abundance is always there. Peace is always there. But sometimes you can't see it because your consciousness is clouded. When you're ready, when your consciousness clears, when you turn to face the light, suddenly you see what was there all along. That's not the blessing arriving. That's you becoming ready to receive it. I've learned that there are certain things we need to cultivate in ourselves to become ready. The first is patience. Real patience. Not the kind of patience where you're gritting your teeth and white-knuckling it through, counting the days until what you want finally shows up. But genuine patience that comes from trust. The kind of patience that says, I know this is coming in perfect timing, so I can relax right now. I can enjoy this moment right now. I don't have to wait until then to be happy. I can be happy now. This kind of patience is actually a form of faith. It's a declaration to the universe that you trust the process. The second thing we need is gratitude, real gratitude. When you're grateful for what you have right now, even if it's not everything you want, you're sending a signal to the universe that you're ready for more. Gratitude raises your vibration. It opens your heart. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance. And in that shift, you become magnetic to your good. But when you're constantly complaining about what you don't have, when you're focused on the absence of what you want, you're actually pushing it away. You're saying to the universe, I'm not ready because I don't appreciate what's already here. Gratitude is the doorway to readiness. The third thing is presence. Being here, now, in this moment. Not living in the past, rehashing old wounds and old stories. Not living in the future, anxiously waiting for things to be different, but being fully present to what is. Because this moment, right now, is where your power is. This moment is where your life is happening. When you're ready to be fully present, you're ready to see. You're ready to receive. You're ready to recognize the sacred in the ordinary. So much passes us by because we're not paying attention. We're too busy worrying about tomorrow or regretting yesterday to notice the miracle that's happening right now. The fourth thing is forgiveness. This is huge. You cannot be ready to receive your good while you're holding on to resentment, anger, and blame. It doesn't matter if the person or people you're angry at deserve your forgiveness. This isn't about them. This is about you. Holding on to unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you trapped. It keeps you from being ready for what's next. When you forgive, you're not saying what happened was okay. You're saying, I'm not going to let this keep me from my good anymore. I'm releasing this. I'm freeing myself. And in that freedom, you become ready. Let me tell you what I know for certain. There is a plan for your life. Not a plan that's rigid and fixed, but a plan in the sense that there's a highest and best version of your life available to you. There's a path of least resistance, a path of flow, a path where everything you need shows up exactly when you need it. Your job is not to create this plan. Your job is to align with it. And you align with it by getting your ego out of the way, by trusting the process, by being present, by being grateful, by being patient, by forgiving, by loving yourself and others. When you do these things, you become ready. And when you're ready, oh my goodness, when you're ready, the floodgates open. I want to address something that troubles a lot of people. They say, if God knows when I'm ready, does that mean I'm just supposed to sit around and do nothing? Am I supposed to be passive? And the answer is no, absolutely not. There's a difference between forcing and allowing. There's a difference between pushing and flowing. Your job is to take inspired action. Your job is to follow your inner guidance. Your job is to do what's in front of you with love and excellence. But your job is not to control outcomes. Your job is not to manipulate circumstances. Your job is not to force doors open that are meant to stay closed right now. When you're connected to Source, when you're listening to your inner wisdom, you'll know what action to take. And that action will feel right. It might not be easy, but it will feel aligned. It will feel like you're moving with the current, not against it. And sometimes the action you're guided to take won't make sense to your logical mind. Sometimes you'll be guided to stop doing something that seems productive. Sometimes you'll be guided to do something that seems illogical. But when you trust that guidance, when you follow it, you're cooperating with the universe. You're saying, I'm ready to be shown the way, even if it's not the way I would have chosen. There's a beautiful paradox here. The more you surrender control, the more power you actually have. The more you trust, the more you can influence. The more you let go, the more you receive. This is backwards from everything the world teaches us. The world says grab, control, manipulate, force, hustle. But the spiritual path says release, trust, allow, flow, attract. And when you really understand this, when you really live this, you become unstoppable. Not because you're forcing things to happen, but because you're in harmony with the creative power of the universe. Let me share another truth with you. Sometimes what you think you want isn't what your soul really needs. Sometimes what you're asking for is small compared to what the universe wants to give you. Sometimes you're saying, I want this tiny thing, and the universe is saying, I've got something so much bigger and better for you. But you have to let go of that tiny thing first. This is where trust becomes essential. You have to be willing to release your small plans so that God's bigger plans can unfold. You have to be willing to say, thy will be done, not my will. Now, I'm not suggesting you don't have preferences or desires. You're human. You're going to want things. But hold those desires loosely. Say to the universe, this or something better, this in perfect timing. And then surrender the outcome. Trust that if what you want is for your highest good, it will come. And if it doesn't come, something better is on its way. This level of trust, this level of surrender, this is what makes you ready to see what God knows you need to see. I've watched this principle work in my life and in the lives of countless others over many years. I've seen people desperate for a relationship finally meet their perfect partner the moment they stopped looking and started enjoying their single life. I've seen people searching for their purpose for years suddenly have clarity the moment they stopped forcing it and started being present. I've seen people struggling financially for decades suddenly experience abundance the moment they shifted from fear to trust. It's not magic. It's not coincidence. It's alignment. It's readiness. It's the natural result of getting in harmony with the way the universe works. And here's something else I want you to understand. Your readiness isn't just about you. Your readiness affects everyone around you. When you become ready to see truth, to see love, to see possibility, you give others permission to do the same. You become a light. You become an example. You become a beacon that shows others what's possible. This is your sacred responsibility, to become ready, not just for yourself, but for everyone whose life you touch. When you rise, you lift others. When you heal, you help others heal. When you become ready, you help others become ready. There are levels to readiness, you see. First, you become ready to see that you're not a victim, that you have choice, that you have power over your thoughts and responses, even if you don't have control over external circumstances. That's a big level of readiness, and many people never get there. They stay stuck in victim consciousness their whole lives, blaming others, blaming circumstances, never taking responsibility for their inner world. But when you become ready to see your own power, everything shifts. The next level of readiness is seeing that you're connected to something larger than yourself, that you're not alone, that there's an intelligence and a love supporting you always. This is when you stop feeling isolated and separate. This is when you start to feel held by the universe. This is when prayer stops being about asking for things and starts being about connecting with Source. This level of readiness brings tremendous peace because you know you're never on your own. Then there's the level of readiness where you see that you are that larger intelligence. You're not just connected to God, you're an expression of God. You're not separate from Source, you're an extension of Source. This is when you truly understand your magnificence. This is when you stop looking outside yourself for validation or approval or love because you know it's all inside you. This level of readiness is transformative because you realize you've been looking for what you already are. And beyond that, there are even deeper levels of readiness. Levels where you see that there's no separation between you and anyone else, where you see that harming another is harming yourself, where you see that loving another is loving yourself. These are profound spiritual truths that you can't just intellectually understand. You have to be ready to see them, to feel them, to know them in your bones. And when you do, when you reach these levels of readiness, your life becomes an expression of divine love. Everything you do becomes sacred. Everyone you meet becomes holy. Every moment becomes precious. But you can't skip levels. You can't force yourself to a higher level of readiness before you've integrated the previous level. This is why patience is so important. This is why trust is so important. You're exactly where you need to be right now. You're ready for exactly what you can see right now. And as you continue to grow, as you continue to expand your consciousness, you'll become ready for more, and more will be revealed. This is a lifelong process. This is the adventure of being human. You never arrive at some final destination where you've learned everything and you're done. You're always evolving, always expanding, always becoming ready for the next level. So what does this mean for your life today, right now? It means you can relax. It means you can breathe. It means you can stop struggling and striving and forcing and controlling. It means you can trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. That job you didn't get? There's a reason. That relationship that ended, there's a reason. That opportunity that fell through, there's a reason. And the reason is always for your highest good, even if you can't see it yet. Even if it hurts right now. Even if you don't understand. You're being prepared for something. You're being shaped for something. You're being refined for something. And when you're ready, when the time is right, when your consciousness has expanded enough to hold it, you'll see it. It will be revealed to you. And you'll look back and you'll understand. You'll see how everything was leading to this moment. You'll see how every disappointment was redirecting you. You'll see how every closed door was protecting you from something that wasn't right for you. You'll see how every delay was giving you time to grow. And you'll be grateful for all of it. This is the perspective shift that changes everything. Instead of fighting against what is, you start accepting what is. Instead of resisting your current circumstances, you start being present to your current circumstances. Instead of waiting for life to begin when you get what you want, you realize life is happening right now, and it's sacred, and it's beautiful, and it's exactly what you need. This is readiness. This is consciousness. This is enlightenment. Not some far-off state you have to achieve, but a way of being you can choose right now. Let me be clear about something. Choosing trust doesn't mean you won't have doubts. Choosing faith doesn't mean you won't have fears. Choosing surrender doesn't mean you won't have moments where you want to control everything. You're human. These thoughts and feelings will come, but you don't have to believe them. You don't have to act on them. You can notice them and let them pass like clouds in the sky. You can say, there's the doubt again. There's the fear again. There's the need to control again. And then you can choose differently. You can choose trust. You can choose faith. You can choose surrender. Over and over again, moment by moment. This is the practice. And as you practice, something amazing happens. The doubts get quieter. The fears get smaller. The need to control loosens its grip. And more, you find yourself in a state of flow. You find yourself at peace. You find yourself knowing, really knowing, that you're taken care of, that you're loved, that you're guided, that everything is working out for you. This knowing is what makes you ready. This knowing is what opens your eyes. This knowing is what allows you to see what God has been trying to show you all along. There's a phrase I love, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. This is true, but it's also true that when the student is ready, everything becomes a teacher. The bird outside your window becomes a teacher. The person who cut you off in traffic becomes a teacher. The pain you're experiencing becomes a teacher. The joy you're feeling becomes a teacher. Everything is conspiring to teach you, to guide you, to help you grow. But you can only see the lessons when you're ready. You can only hear the guidance when you're listening. You can only receive the help when you're open. So how do you open? How do you listen? How do you become ready? It starts with willingness. You have to be willing to see things differently. You have to be willing to let go of old beliefs that no longer serve you. You have to be willing to admit that maybe, just maybe, you don't have all the answers. You have to be willing to be vulnerable, to be humble, to be teachable. This willingness is the crack that lets the light in. This willingness is the first step toward readiness. Then you need to create space. You need silence. You need stillness. In a world that's constantly bombarding you with noise and information and stimulation, you need to intentionally create quiet moments where you can hear the still small voice within. This might be meditation. This might be prayer. This might be a walk in nature. This might be sitting quietly with a cup of tea. Whatever it is, you need it. You need time to connect with yourself, with your soul, with Source. Without this space, you'll miss the whispers of guidance. Without this stillness, you'll miss the signs that are pointing you in the right direction. You also need to pay attention to what expands you and what contracts you. There are people, places, activities, thoughts that make you feel expanded, open, alive, connected. And there are people, places, activities, thoughts that make you feel contracted, closed, dead, separate. The things that expand you are in alignment with your highest good. The things that contract you are not. As you become more aware of this, as you start choosing expansion over contraction more consistently, you become ready for higher levels of truth and love and joy. Let me share something personal. There was a time in my life when I was addicted to being right. I had to win every argument. I had to prove my point. I had to make sure everyone knew I was smart and knowledgeable. And you know what? That addiction to being right kept me from being ready to see so many things. It kept me closed off. It kept me defensive. It kept me small. But when I let go of that need, when I became willing to be wrong, when I became willing to learn from everyone and everything, I became ready to see truth everywhere. I became ready to grow in ways I never imagined. Letting go of the need to be right was one of the most liberating things I've ever done. What are you holding on to that's keeping you from being ready? What belief, what grudge, what story, what identity, what are you so attached to that you can't see beyond it? I'm asking you to look at this honestly, not to beat yourself up about it, but to become aware of it. Because awareness is the first step toward change. Once you see what's in your way, you can choose to move it. You can choose to release it. You can choose to say, this is no longer serving me. I'm letting this go so I can be ready for what's next. And when you do let go, when you do release, don't be surprised if things get uncomfortable for a while. Change is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. Becoming ready often means leaving behind the familiar. Even if the familiar was making you miserable, your ego likes the familiar. Your ego likes what it knows, even if what it knows is painful, because at least it's predictable. But your spirit, your soul, that part of you knows there's so much more available to you. Your spirit is calling you forward, calling you higher, calling you to become ready for levels of beauty and joy and peace you've never experienced before. This is a call to courage. It takes courage to trust when everything in your experience tells you not to. It takes courage to be patient when everyone around you is rushing. It takes courage to surrender when the world tells you to fight and control. It takes courage to believe in a loving universe when you've been hurt and disappointed. But this courage, this is what makes you ready. This courage is what opens the door. This courage is what allows God to show you what you need to see. And let me assure you of this. You have this courage. It's already inside you. You've shown courage every single day of your life just by getting up and facing another day. You've shown courage every time you've chosen love over fear, even in small ways. You've shown courage every time you've been kind when you wanted to be cruel. Every time you've forgiven when you wanted to hold a grudge. Every time you've hoped when circumstances seemed hopeless. You are courageous. You are strong. You are ready, or you're becoming ready. And that's exactly what needs to happen. Here's what I know from my own experience and from observing the lives of so many others. The universe is always guiding you toward your highest good. Always. Even when it doesn't feel like it. Even when it seems like everything is falling apart. Even when you can't see any evidence of goodness anywhere, the guidance is there. The love is there. The plan is unfolding. And you will see this. You will see the perfection of it all. You will see the beauty of it all. You will see the love of it all. But you'll see it when you're ready to see it. You'll see it when your consciousness has expanded enough to hold that vision. You'll see it when you've learned the lessons you needed to learn. You'll see it when the time is right. And until then, until that moment of seeing arrives, your job is to live. Your job is to love. Your job is to be present. Your job is to trust. Your job is to grow. Your job is to choose, moment by moment, thought by thought, to align yourself with the highest and best that wants to express through you. This is enough. This is everything. This is the spiritual path. Not waiting for some future moment when everything will be perfect, but making this moment sacred. Not postponing your joy until you get what you want, but finding joy in what is. Not withholding your love until people deserve it, but giving love freely because that's who you are. When you live this way, when you choose this way, something miraculous happens. What you've been looking for starts looking for you. What you've been chasing starts coming to you. What you've been trying to force starts flowing to you. This is the law of attraction, but it's deeper than just positive thinking. It's about becoming a vibrational match for what you desire by embodying the qualities of what you desire right now. You want peace? Be peaceful now. You want love? Be loving now. You want abundance? Be abundant with what you have now. You want joy? Be joyful now. This is how you become ready. Not by waiting for circumstances to change, but by changing yourself. Not by waiting for the blessing to arrive, but by recognizing the blessings that are already here. Not by waiting for God to do something, but by realizing God is doing everything every moment, and your job is simply to align with it, to cooperate with it, to say yes to it. There's a prayer I love, and it goes like this. Let me see this differently. That's it. Just those 6 words. Let me see this differently. When you're upset, when you're confused, when you're scared, when you can't see the way forward, you can say this prayer: let me see this differently. And if you mean it, if you're willing, your perception will shift. Maybe not instantly, but it will shift. You'll start to see possibilities you couldn't see before. You'll start to see meaning in what seemed meaningless. You'll start to see love where you only saw fear. This willingness to see differently is what makes you ready. Because ultimately that's what this is all about. Being ready isn't about being perfect. It's not about having it all figured out. It's not about never making mistakes or never struggling. Being ready is about being willing. Being ready is about being open. Being ready is about saying to the universe, to God, to Source, show me, teach me, use me. I'm willing to see what you want me to see. I'm willing to learn what you want me to learn. I'm willing to become who you created me to be. And when you make this declaration, when you truly surrender like this, everything begins to change. Doors open that you didn't even know were there. People show up who can help you in ways you never imagined. Opportunities appear that are perfect for you. Insights come that answer questions you've been asking for years. This is grace. This is divine orchestration. This is what happens when you become ready. So I want to encourage you today, right now, to trust the process of your life. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be. Trust that what you need to see will be shown to you when the time is right. Trust that you're being prepared for something beautiful. Trust that your struggles have meaning. Trust that your pain has purpose. Trust that your delays are divine. Trust that nothing is random, nothing is wasted, nothing is meaningless. Every single thing you've experienced has brought you to this moment, and this moment is preparing you for the next moment. And it's all perfect, it's all necessary, it's all love. You'll see this when you're ready to see it. And you're becoming ready every day, with every choice to trust instead of worry, with every choice to love instead of fear, with every choice to surrender instead of control. You're becoming more ready. Your consciousness is expanding. Your heart is opening. Your vision is clearing. And one day, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe years from now, you'll see it. You'll see what God has been trying to show you all along. You'll see your own magnificence. You'll see the perfection of your path. You'll see the love that's been surrounding you always. You'll see that you were never alone, never abandoned, never unloved. You'll see that every step, every stumble, every fall, every rise, it was all leading you home. Home to yourself, home to truth, home to love. And when you see this, when you really see this, you'll understand. You'll understand why the timing had to be what it was. You'll understand why some doors closed and others opened. You'll understand why you had to go through what you went through. You'll understand that it was all for you, all for your growth, all for your becoming. And you'll be grateful. You'll be so grateful for the struggle because you'll see what it created in you. You'll be grateful for the waiting because you'll see how it prepared you. You'll be grateful for the